Yes, the rumors are true. I do have hair. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. Amazon just put out a new series called The Girlfriend, and I, as it turns out, am a gay cliche because I binged that in one sitting. A potentially psycho girlfriend and an overprotective, borderline incestuous mommy, a rich family, set in London. I ran to Amazon faster than the gays run back to the dance floor when they hear Into You by Ariana Grande start playing at a party. I ran faster than Mitch McConnell when he hears about a young up-and-coming Republican looking to fist ahead of the competition. I ran faster than Sydney Sweeney when her agent tells her they need a big-breasted blonde bombshell for an ad for literally anything. Now that I have your attention, let me tell you how this series got my attention. Laura's idyllic life is shattered when her son's new girlfriend seems suspicious. Determined to protect him, Laura's actions spiral out of control, raising the question, is she justifiably cautious or consumed by paranoia? I know what you're thinking. This sounds familiar, right? We've seen this somewhere. Like Play Misty for Me, Fatal Attraction, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, The Crush, The Temp, Disclosure, The Babysitter, Fear, Swim Fan, Chloe, Obsessed, The Housemaid, The Boy Next Door, The Perfect Guy, When the Bow Breaks. Bow? Is that how you say it? When the Boff Breaks. Nice. Unforgettable, Fiddle Affair, Fatale, Hush, Monster-in-Law, The Family Stone, Greta. Let me stop you right there, okay? Enough. No, you have not seen this before. It's totally original. Robin Wright, fierce lesbian-coded actress, and Olivia Cooke, fierce mother of all the worst characters in House of the Dragon, in an even fiercer battle royale for the attention of another generic white Chad. I am sat. I'm sold. I'm sold faster than a Sunday tote wearing gay whenever he hears of a sample sale around the corner for vintage furniture. Sold faster than Republicans are sold on thoughts and prayers anytime that gun violence happens. The series is brilliant because of its writing. It's not one of those stereotypical stories with a clear villain, psychopathic in nature, that comes into the house wanting to steal someone. No, this is not an ICE documentary produced by Dr. Phil. This is, put simply, two very realistic, grounded characters making small impulsive decisions with increasingly more catastrophic consequences. And one thing this series is going to do is give you a climax by the end. This isn't one of those series that promises a lot and then underdelivers and leaves you longing for a release. We're not here to discuss every grinder hookup with Hung Muscle 88. No, baby, this time you get to finish. And you get to enjoy it. Because they take their sweet time building up the tensions, raising the stakes, and it gets quite deranged. But here's the thing. Because it has a build-up, you don't find some of the events quite as jarring as you would if this was a 90-minute film. It's why a series is the perfect format to narrate this type of story, documenting someone's downward spiral into madness. It lets you marinate in the events. It lets you raise the temperature rhythmically. It's like foreplay. You don't need it, but it always makes it better. Always. This is a show for the gays and the girlies. It has women out each other, vying to be favored by a generic guy that you could easily replace with any other mildly attractive late 20s guy. He doesn't matter. He's a body to be used in this game of ping pong. Now let's play ping pong with two bad bitches. And of course, make sure to like this video and comment down below, give it to me, if you're ready for me to give it to you. I am so sorry. This is the script that I have to read. They're forcing me to do it. Please send. And don't forget to subscribe. I love you more than you'll ever know. Ding. Also, spoiler alert for the entire show. Okay, this is not going to be a chronological recap. This is going to be an analysis. So I'm assuming that anyone who watches from here on out has either seen the series or doesn't care to be spoiled. Okay, now that that's clear, let's go. First, let's meet the mother, Laura Saunderson, played by Robin Wright, who also directed the series. I love Robin because she's very, sapphic. She has this lesbian aura about her. Don't ask me what it is. Don't ask me what it is. She just has it. Even though she is straight, I believe that her soul belongs to the lesbians. And what do you know? She plays Laura Saunderson, a bisexual art gallery owner. I mean, they write it themselves. We learn her greatest love of the past was a girlfriend that she had, someone she became very close to whilst mourning the passing of her daughter. And this girlfriend in question, who's an artist, is called Lilith. It's very, very devilish, very playing with temptation. And she's very progressive. She's in an open/polyamorous relationship with her husband, Howard. Howie, the absolute saint of this series. I call it progressive. I shouldn't have. They're not in this open relationship because they see their relationship in a different way. They're in this because she is unable to love him as much as he loves her. Like I said, he's a saint. Now, the best way to describe Laura would be a boy mom. And we all know boy moms, don't we? Fated to be your lover, cursed to be your mother.
I seen my son's penis today. I was in complete shock. Like, boy, put that big thing away. Respect your mother. Girl, what? She thought that, typed it all out, read it, and still decided to post it.
Aw, young love. I remember that feeling. My first boyfriend.
That's his mom.
What?
That's not his girlfriend, that's his mom.
What?
Some nasty stuff. From the beginning, their relationship just hits a little too close for comfort. Like, she would probably marry her son, and Daniel, her son, would probably let her, because he's a mama's boy. Their whole dynamic reminds me of that Little Britain skit.
Bitty.
You had Bitty on playing dog.
Want Bitty? Bitty. Want Bitty now.
Mummy Bitty. Mummy Bitty now. I want Bitty, Mummy. We do find out there's a reason for this. Laura and Howard lost a daughter ages ago. Her name was Rose, and ever since then, Laura projected all of the expectations for that young daughter onto her son, who grew up in his dead sister's shadow, trying to live up to all the expectations both his parents had for her. It's how you raise a pansy. Also, Howard is a real estate mogul. He's a billionaire. So these people suck. Like, they suck butthole. Eat the rich. Then there's Cherry. Ah, good old Cherry. I personally love Cherry for a very simple reason. I see myself in her. She's calm, collected, respectful, polite, and will go above and beyond to make you feel comfortable around her. But if you, for no reason whatsoever, decide to cross her, count your days. Count your days. Because she turns into Miss Petty Lapone. Same way that I do. She's petty central, petty downtown, petty uptown, any other petty that you can think of, she's it. In fact, they could have called this series Petty Wars and no meaning would have been lost. And I know being petty is a horrible trait, vindictive, holding on to grudges, it's toxic, it consumes you. But here's the thing, I'm self-aware. I know it's a problem, I choose just not to do anything about it because my petty side won't let me. Cherry is from a very modest family. Her mom's a butcher and her father, though she says is dead, is actually in a care home, completely catatonic, except for when he hears the name Cherry or sees Cherry, in which case he starts doing the best RFK Jr. impersonation I've ever heard. Fuck! Oh! Uncanny. And what follows Cherry throughout the series is a mysterious past where she has a temper and she tends to be very impulsive and vindictive and fight for what she wants. Sounds like the traits of a winner to me. Who here loves an unreliable narrator? I sure do. My favorite book turned into one of my favorite movies, Gone Girl, does it so expertly well that it hits you like a fucking truck. You didn't see it coming, it changes the narrative completely, and it lets you marinate in your thoughts and really realize, damn, this shit is good. It's gaggy, it's disgusting, it's insidious, it's glorious art. And The Girlfriend has some of those elements as well. My favorite element of The Girlfriend is the storytelling structure they went with. Each episode has two sections. Laura section, Cherry section, not necessarily in that order. And each segment follows one of the women and the actions of the other as perceived by the woman we're following. And when it changes perspective and the narratives clash, and we see the same thing happening from the other woman's perspective, key details change. The series is showing us what each woman sees happening, what they remember to be the real version of the events. And in each segment, you walk away thinking, damn, the other woman is the villain. But then you watch the other woman's POV and you realize, wait, she's not the villain. If anything, the entire story is born out of misunderstanding after misunderstanding. And the story keeps unfolding because both of these ladies are unwilling to look beyond their own belly button. That's a Portuguese saying. In essence, we get Cherry's version, Laura's version, leaving us, the viewer, to decide which one sounds more grounded and more reasonable. And the way that you interpret this might also depend on your own baggage as a person, your own past, your own experiences. For example, when Cherry is teasing Daniel to touch himself whilst looking at one another from the balcony to the terrace. One of the many moments where one of the women try to assert their dominance over Daniel, and it's usually sexual in nature. Yes, there is a moment where Laura just walks up to her son in the middle of a party and just plants a big fat smooch on his lips, and that's gross. But in this moment of sexual tension, when Laura catches them, from Cherry's perspective, she turns away immediately, embarrassed but giggling because of how mortified she feels. When we see it from Laura's side, Cherry doesn't look away. She holds eye contact and smirks, gloating in her face. Nasty. Or when Cherry and Laura have a small confrontation in the kitchen. In Laura's version, we hear Cherry say,
"You ruined my life. Now watch me ruin yours."
but in Cherry's version, we hear her say,
"You know you've lost, Laura."
very different sentences that lead to very different outcomes. At the heart of the conflict is Daniel, our leading boring man. He's a doctor, he's 28, and he's basically still being breastfed by his mother. He's the type of guy who probably wants to find a wife, but his mother is so overbearing and overprotective and smothering him that he finds it impossible to hold any type of romantic connection to any woman because his mommy is always there in a corner whispering in his ear, "She's not good enough." He's not particularly captivating or interesting, and I think that's what works really well, because I know a lot of you desperate Sallys out there are going above and beyond for generic chads that really don't deserve half the attention you're giving them. Ladies, wake up. It's time to appreciate yourselves, recognize your worth, and ghost that toxic man. I know the dick is good. I know. But you got this, okay? You got this. Your self-respect is more important than the need for release. And if you need a release, girl, God gave you fingers for a reason. But I think he's perfect that he's such a regular, boring man. To Laura, he's the child that survived. He's her legacy, and she's grown so attached to him, she'd rather breastfeed him for the rest of his life than see him express sexual interest over another woman. Especially Cherry, who she acts hostile towards as soon as she hears the name. She doesn't even have to meet her. She hears Cherry thinking, she must be a stripper, a gold digger. To Cherry, Daniel is a man that she genuinely falls in love with and also is an exit ramp for her own life. She is overworked, underappreciated. She can't really get a win in life, even though she's doing what we are told we're meant to do when we want to get a better life. Work hard, put in the hours, commit to something, and go for it. And she does, and life is not rewarding her. So what if her new boyfriend is a billionaire? She likes him, and his money is just a bonus that will ultimately make her work that much harder to win, obviously. I mean, who wouldn't? Like I said, for 100 grand, I'll punch a baby. I'll push someone's grandma off a cliff. Laura sees Cherry as the ultimate social climber, a gold digger. I mean, why else would she want to date her son? And I'll never get over how funny this perspective is. Like, any woman showing interest in your son, obviously she's a gold digger. Why else would they want to date your son? Like, how highly do you think of your son to think that the money is the most interesting thing about him? Rich people are crazy. And unlike cliche movies that, everything seems to come out of left fields, the aggressiveness, the violence, an obsessive person that just acts completely psychopathic in nature just to get to someone or to steal someone away. Here you have two very grounded characters that are simply doing the best they can do. And through misunderstandings and trying to assert dominance over the same man, which is so funny when you think that one of the people trying to assert dominance is his own mother. Ew. You get completely deranged things happening that out of context are absolutely unhinged. But within context, For example, seeing Laura lie to Cherry that her son died sounds absolutely insane, deranged, and completely unacceptable. But then, seeing how everything happens in her perspective, it's still unhinged and deranged and completely unacceptable, but somehow you kind of understand how she got there. She's no longer a deranged, crazy woman. She's simply too stupid for her own good. It's almost understandable. Ugh. She feared for her life's son, and the paranoia that Cherry might have had something to do with the accident, paired with the fact that she already thought that she was a social climber. And then on top of that, the doctor had told them minutes before that their son was as good as dead, and they had a couple of hours to say goodbye before his body literally became a corpse. So she just got impulsive and told her, yeah, he died this morning when he was still breathing in front of her. And then what do you know? He makes a miraculous recovery. And then Laura simply never tells Cherry the truth. It's deranged and out of context, put her away. But in context, it's like, yeah, sure, but still put her away. Or when we see Cherry seemingly spend all of Daniel's money mere months after his passing, and we think, whoa, did she just not love him and she just wanted his money? Why is she using his laptop and his credit card to buy stuff? But then we see it through Cherry's perspective and we realize she was buying a suit for Daniel's funeral. She was cut off from the family completely, had no say in anything since the accident that Daniel had, and all she wanted was to choose what he was going to wear in a casket. We even see her try and pay with her own money and then hand over Daniel's card, embarrassed when hers doesn't go through. And we realize she wasn't spending all of his money. She was genuinely trying to be a part of the funeral, the way they were going to remember him, the way they were going to celebrate his life. All of a sudden, she's not a gold-digging villain. She's a mourning woman. And then there's the violence. And it's not just physical violence. It's not just personal attacks. The girlfriend broadens violence and shows us a lot of different types of violence. And it really is up to the viewer to determine what they find acceptable or not. And depending on the type of violence you condemn, I don't know, it could say a lot about who you are as a person or how you see the world. Both these women are violent, but in very different ways. Laura, wanting to protect her son, hijacks Cherry's Instagram and gets her fired over an incendiary post that compromises Cherry's very own livelihood. She kicks Cherry out of her own home, the one that Daniel had bought for the two to live in. She then hijacks communications between the two, keeping them completely apart, which leads to a very unserious moment when Laura is getting her freak on with her husband and suddenly gets some naked pickies of her son. Ugh. God damn, they're never beating the allegations. I'll also never get over the moment when Cherry realizes, I am dating a pansy mama's boy. She throws some shade his mom's way over how she overreacted at a scraped knee, and he jumps to his mommy's defense. And her face, the moment he starts defending her over nothing. No, at this point, girl, stay for the money. Like, take everything. Take all the money and run. Or when Laura fires her assistant, not because the assistant was bad at her job, but because Laura had been slacking off and needed someone to blame. So she destroys another person's livelihood just like that. And you can tell that she's American the way that she fires her assistant, because she's like, I'm sorry, you're fired. Y'all, that's not how you do it in Europe, okay? I don't know how it works in the US of A, but here we have laws that protect workers. And actually, when you have an official job, you have a contract, it's really difficult to fire someone who's past probation. Trust me, I've had several jobs and I've seen a lot of people be really, really, really terrible, and still they could not get fired because there's bureaucracy and there's a lot of laws protecting workers, and that's how it should be. So Laura, the American of the cast, bless your heart. Then there's Cherry's violence. Cherry's not a billionaire. She can't ruin someone's life the same way that Laura does with simply a phone call or a couple of messages. But that doesn't mean she's not going to fight back. She is driven, and when she has a goal in her mind, she stops at nothing. My favorite thing she does is ruining her ex's wedding after her ex confronts her outside of her work and insults her, degrades her in a really rude manner. She punches him, but that's not enough. So she hijacks his wedding and stuffs the wedding cake with a lot of meat and blood from her mom's butchers, causing a bloody explosion the moment they stab that cake with a knife. And all we see is Cherry walking away from the party with a smile on her face. You know what? Good for you, girl. Good for you. And sure, it's an unhinged act. It's crazy to do it, but also kind of iconic. Kind of iconic. But there's other moments, like when she attacks herself with a glass to frame Laura as a violent offender, or when she breaks into the gallery and defaces her greatest lover's greatest art pieces, or, as we'll come to find out, how she allegedly pushed her father off of like the 19th or 20th floor, the thing that caused him to be catatonic in the care home and the reason why every time he sees her, He does the RFK Jr. impression. But here's the thing. Her father was a piece of crap. He put his own family in a lot of debt, and then he was trying to walk away, effectively ruining his wife and his daughter's lives in the process. All she did was go to her dad and demand the money back. And when he didn't, things must have gotten heated. And you know what? If you're a grown man arguing with a 14-year-old girl, your own daughter, and she pushes you off a building, then I think you deserved it. We never get the full exact beat-by-beat story of what happened that day, but it is heavily implied by Cherry's own mother that she has a dark side to her, and if you start crossing her, you start getting hit. And I love it. Talk shit, get hit. Don't bring it on yourselves. Don't be bad people. It's so easy to just not be a bad person, you know? Karma's a bitch. Jojo Siwa tried to tell us all. Then in the last episode, they drop the 2 POV storytelling structure that they've been running for 5 episodes, and they give us the story straight as it's happening. There's a lot of violence between Laura and Cherry, but the series tries to frame Laura as just desperately trying to protect her son, and she acts towards Cherry as if Cherry is trying to hurt her. She's playing the white Karen victim card. She starts attacking, but then claims that Cherry's the violent one.
Are you just jealous that I can have everything that you've got without the trust fund and the degree?
Guys, welcome to Class Wars. Cherry's actions is the impulsive one, the one who nearly killed her father. She comes from modest beginnings. Her mother lives in a council estate. She's essentially a poor woman trying to make it and dating a billionaire. She's lying to get the billionaire's affection. She's lying to get the billionaire's attention. She's breaking into art galleries. She's filling her ex's wedding cake with blood. She is cutting herself in the face to frame his boyfriend's mom of violence. She used to beat up kids who tried to steal her toys in the schoolyard. She is effectively the poor, aggressive, dangerous one. Laura is simply trying to defend her son. She's doing everything she can out of concern. You know, she's destroying livelihoods like it's nothing, just so she can keep up the lie that she told her future daughter-in-law that her son had died, when her son is very much alive and well, breathing in the next room. So how is one violence more acceptable than the other? Why is one violence done out of concern and the other one done out of wanting to social climb? We see this happen all the time. The oppressed are expected to resist oppression in a civilized manner. They are expected to be the perfect victims, because you still have to play into the optics when you're losing. You still have to play into the optics in an unfair system. It's insane. And this is welcome to capitalism as well. This is how they keep people poor, you know? They tell you that you can make something out of yourself as long as you work hard, put in the hours, and do everything you're supposed to by the book, which is exactly what Cherry did. And where did that get her? It got her blacklisted from every real estate agency in the city because the mother of her boyfriend couldn't accept the fact that her future daughter-in-law comes from modest beginnings, doesn't have money to fly first class, can't afford 300-pound dresses and keep them all. So there's a big focus in the last episode on Cherry's specific brand of violence, but then we never talk about, for example, Howard's brand of violence. Howard is a real estate mogul, and they talk a bit about unaffordable housing and how Cherry has a project she wants to work on to increase affordable housing, give back to the community. Cherry wants to make poor people's lives better, easier, yet she's the violent one. Now, are we going to talk about how many people have lost their homes or have been unable to purchase a home or unable to afford rent or move out of their parents' houses just because Howard was building his real estate empire and probably privatizing all of these homes and turning them into a profitable business that got him to be a billionaire? No one talks about the corporate violence of this billionaire family because all that violence has been legalized, made possible through bureaucracy and a shit ton of paperwork that says, yes, you can be responsible for the deaths of thousands of people, but if someone shoots you, that person is the real villain, and that's the type of violence that we need to condemn. They tell poor people that through hard work you can get there, but they never tell you that those who already got there didn't get there through hard work. Trust funds, generational wealth, capitalism, nothing about it is hard work. Sometimes it's luck, Most times, it's violence. The type of violence that hurts a lot more people for a lot longer than a simple one-on-one fight. It's a system designed specifically to keep poor people poor and rich people rich. And if you try to revolt, it's actually trans people that are causing prices to go up. Actually, it's immigrants that have given trillions of profit over 1 year to the top 400 billionaires in America. It's the trans and it's the brown people and the black people that are making your life miserable, okay? Now focus on that and forget about class wars. And this is why I respect Cherry. We keep sanitizing the top 1%'s violence and keep demonizing the violence of the 99% that are trying to do something with what they've been given, the very little that the 1% have allowed the other 99% to have. And we still have standards for what we find acceptable and not acceptable, the standards that we are not applying to the 1%. No. That's why I respect Cherry. Cherry was told she needed to work hard to make something out of herself, and she did. She worked hard on Daniel. She worked hard on that penis, and her reward should be entering the family. Now, if Laura could just get it through her thick head that she's never gonna sleep with her son, and she can't marry her son because it's not legal, then this story would have been over very quickly. But alas, we get the climax. In an absolute unhinged showdown in the finale of this series, we have Cherry and Laura by the pool. Laura's holding a knife, trying to stop Cherry from going upstairs to check on Daniel. Daniel was drugged by his own mother and locked in a room because she wants to protect him from Cherry. Laura's now acting like Cherry is the violent one who might kill her because of what she allegedly did to her father, yet it's Laura that's been actively violent against Cherry this entire time and who is holding a knife threatening to stab her. But Cherry is resourceful. She graduated from the School of Life. Street smarts, if you will. She hears Daniel coming down. He must have woken up from the drug-induced sleep, and she tries to get stabbed so she can have a knife wound. It's her MO. She pretends to be the victim so Daniel will favor her. Honestly, girl, I would do the same. But it only results in her with a sliced hand. So a scuffle ensues, a struggle, if you will. They fall in the pool. Cherry knows timing. She's gonna first attack Laura, and as soon as Daniel is about to emerge from the corner, she's gonna let Laura start drowning her. So Daniel gets there, and what he sees is his absolutely deranged mother trying to drown his fiance, prompting him to jump into the water and restrain his mother, allowing Cherry to escape. And Cherry does so ever so slowly because she realizes that Daniel is restraining his mother, unbeknownst to him, under the water.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
She even waits long enough to then say, "Daniel, stop!" Almost chastising him for what he's doing to his mother, because ultimately, Cherry doesn't want any harm to befall on Laura. But it's too late, and Laura is gone. Daniel killed his own mother. Then months later, after Daniel and Cherry got married and Cherry got pregnant, she's now heavily pregnant, Daniel finds his mother's phone long lost in the scuffle months before, and then he goes through her photos and videos, and of course he knows the code to her phone. They were joined at the hip. And that's when he finally sees the recording that his mother was trying to show him that fateful night, the recording she made when she visited Cherry's mom, and got Cherry's mom to admit that yes, her daughter is kind of cuckoo. Yes, her daughter will slice herself just to win an argument. Yes, her daughter may have pushed her own father to his almost death. Yes, her daughter is absolutely ruthless when she finds something that she wants, and she will not stop until she has it. And once she's done with it, she finds a way to get rid of it. And Daniel is horrified to learn this truth. He killed his mom, he married Cherry, and now she's pregnant with his baby. The end. Cherry wins, Laura loses. I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I actually really like the ending. I really like that Cherry won, because if you look back at the series and you look back at the start of the conflict between these two women, you'll see that Laura started it all. She couldn't be polite. She couldn't look past the name being Cherry. She couldn't just be happy for her son. Because here's the thing, Cherry and Daniel were super happy together. She wasn't maliciously trying to steal his money. We see them interact several times, and it's pretty clear that they are a good couple. And if Laura had acted like any other sane, loving mother, happy for her son's happiness, then this could have been a beautiful love story where Cherry joins the family, marries Daniel, they have kids, and they all live happily ever after. And instead, Laura had to go all white Karen on these two. And in the process, she ruined her career, ruined her marriage, ruined her relationship with her son, and then got killed by the same son. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. All in all, the series is great. The writing is phenomenal. I think it's based on a book, and I think the book has a slightly different ending. I personally wouldn't change this ending. I think it is just perfect because even though they try to basically tip the scales and show that maybe it was Cherry, the real villain, I'm not convinced. She wasn't the real villain because she's not the one who started all this. She didn't even go into this relationship wanting to steal all of his money or anything. She went into this genuinely loving him, and she got out of it genuinely loving him. The mom, however, needed to get boned better. And you, viewer at home, if you still haven't watched this series, then may I suggest you getting a bottle of vino, red preferably, invite a few friends over and binge it, watch it, get drunk, and have fun. And as for you, Amazon, well done. Yeah, I mean, it's not enough to make up for the environmental terrorism of Jeff Bezos' wedding. Definitely not enough to make up for all the violence involved in the growth of Amazon as a business. But at least it was entertaining. Well, I was entertained, at least. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below, even if you didn't like the video. Like it. Go on. I dare you. Also, leave in the comments down below if you've watched the series. Did you like it? What was your favorite part? And why is Cherry the undisputable hero of the story? Did the series tickle your pickle as much as it tickled my pickle? I hope so. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid, and stay stuttering. Bye, guys.